Alrighty. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to, I think, episode 8 of Hardcore Hockey Talk. I'm the Sharks admin,
Yep.
hashtag Bleed Teal.
And I'm the fan admin, and Bobby is there.
Yes, I am. Your host, Boomstick, and the administrator of the Buffalo Sabres, your one and only and truly.
There
And
we
we
go.
are here together today.
Alright, so what do you guys want to talk about first?
Well, we might as well just talk about the latest trades that happened lately.
That's a good start.
Like Brian Johansson, Seth Jones, the Cat, Garbutt, or speculations of Jonathan Drouin, where he'll end up, what's coming up for the deadline, and all that good stuff. So, why don't we start with you, Rob? What do you think's going to happen going forward? Like, what do you expect from the trade deadline?
The obvious one is Druin going somewhere. I definitely think it's actually going to happen before the trade deadline. I feel like it's a ticking time bomb with Druin. I mean, especially now that he doesn't even want to play in any of the AHL games. I believe they send him back home or something.
Well, what happened was he got sent from Syracuse to go back to Montreal as kind of like a stay-home arrest punishment kind of thing, and they suspended him indefinitely, so he's no longer a member of the Tampa Bay Lightning. So they're probably going to speculate he's just going to get traded within the next maybe couple of weeks, and some people said he might get traded in the offseason, which I highly doubt that's going to happen. Because to me, this whole thing is like a Vander Kane 2.0 or a Kyle Turris 2.0 or Nino Niederreiter 2.0. There's just always there's at least that one player on the team's prospect pool that's always going to act like a malcontent. So there's always going to be that in our teams. I mean, it's happened before in the past, and it could always go, and it will never end. I mean, we can all agree on that at some point in our lives.
Right.
So, I mean, if anything, Jonathan Drouin, whoever takes him, is going to be the ultimate guinea pig. But in my perspective, if anywhere he goes, I would probably say he's going to go to a Western team. And if anything, he's probably going to go to the Vancouver Canucks, or he's going to go to the Anaheim Ducks. Like, that's my speculation. And then, of course, last week, they were saying he was supposed to be traded within a day or two, and then
nothing happened
for Chattyford. Yeah, and then that never happened, of course. And then they were talking about Montreal for a little while, and then that kind of died. And then the Rangers for a little while, that died too. So basically, nobody in this league wants Jonathan Drouin. But like I said, there's always that one guinea pig team that's gonna want to try to, go after the beast. Somebody's gonna go for it. And go for the goods. And if Drouin, whoever he goes to, is gonna be an asset, I suggest they treat him well, kind of like what several players in the past have done, and they gotten better treatment from their newer teams, and they just move on with their lives and look at it like it's nothing.
I mean, I would like the Sharks to get him, but at this point, I don't see us needing him. And the reason why I say that,
I mean,
I say it because
I could see Montreal getting ruined, but not with the attitude that he has right now.
Yeah, that's what's making a lot of teams back out from him. Or if you're like in the Sharks case, you already have you have a good amount of wingers who are either ready to come up or are in development, then you don't really need to go for Drouin. Even if he does have a lot of upside to him, it's not worth it.
Now, would it be worth it to San Jose if they were able to trade at least one of their least used top prospects? Like, I'm not dissing anything, but I'm just asking out of curiosity. Would there ever be a case in the Sharks roster or in the farm system or in the juniors or whatever? Is there a player in your mind that they could give away for Jonathan Drouin one for one, or they could add more to the package?
We can probably give Matt Nieto, maybe one of our young defensemen like Dylan DeMello, and maybe a second round draft pick for Druin. I don't know if Tampa Bay would accept that, but that's the
Yeah,
only logical thing I could say. I mean, if we
yeah,
still had our
because
first round draft pick, probably throw the first round draft pick and that'd be a done deal, but
I
I don't
mean,
know.
if I was the Sharks, I would not consider trading that first round pick if I was San Jose or any of the teams. Jonathan Druin, again, he's a high prospect, but he's not at this point worth a first round draft pick after what he put off last week, because that was the most complete bullshit thing that I've ever seen from anybody's perspective. I just think it was very childish, very unprofessional with him. I mean, you're going to be paid millions for the next team you play for in the future, and no doubt in my mind that, like, it I get that Jerome is upset not getting the ice time, but there at least has somebody, like I said, or what Rob said about somebody's going to take the guinea pig. I mean, Montreal, they had plenty of interest, but they probably have other ideas.
They need scoring.
There was speculation about James Reimer, and that's what we were talking about earlier today. I mean, that was just completely out of proportion. Like, what do you think, Steph? Do you think it's worth it for Montreal to go after James Reimer, especially if Carey Price is not healthy at this point?
Um, as every Montreal hockey fan there is, they really, really hate Reimer's gut so bad. So Montreal's not the place for Reimer at this point.
I mean, I don't really see it happening, honestly.
I don't see it happening.
I don't either. I mean, they would have to give him Scrivens or Condon or send Condon down to St. John's. They would have to do that, and then there would just have to be a lot of translation in Montreal's perspective. I mean, the whole Reimer situation doesn't make sense, but the Blues I can understand, but they're not going to trade James Reimer because Jake Allen's out. They're not going to do the same thing with Montreal. I mean, I know at some point there's going to be another goalie down the road that's going to get hurt, but they might use the service. But the asking price for some of these offers that the Leafs are throwing in are just absolutely ridiculous. Like, they want a first round pick for James Reimer, and then they want a second rounder for Roman Polak, which makes me upset because, the Sabres need a defenseman because their defensive core sucks, and, the majority of them can probably just go. Please, I'm just like begging for them to get rid of it. Have mercy. I'm sure, there's going to be some speculation from most of our teams. San Jose wants Joffrey Lupul, Montreal wants Jonathan Drouin, and Buffalo wants Jonathan Drouin. There's just a lot going on in this perspective of the season. I mean, like, is there anything outside of our teams that you guys think is going to happen?
Well, if Bruins goes to the Western team, definitely not Chicago because they're all stacked up. But I could see him going to a team like the Sharks, the Ducks, the Kings, maybe the Yokes to help them out.
Sure. I mean, I know Dustin Boston's going to place. What do you think, Rob?
Bufflin? I know the Capitals have some interest in Bufflin.
Yeah, Bufflin's carrying a lot of interest. I mean, the Islanders want Bufflin, but they were talking about Bufflin and Ladd for Opozo and Hamilton. I mean, any first round draft pick all combined. I mean, we don't really know what the full details are for the Islanders, but I know they've been linked for Stamkos and Bufflin and Taylor Hall. Because they need someone to play with JT, and that's just the bottom line. They desperately need that to happen.
Right.
So I think it's only fair if the Islanders go out and get the top number one winger to play with JT. Because Opozo, he's been great for many, many years. Because, of course, I live in Long Island. Opozo's been great, but this rate of the season, if he's not signed, it indicates he does not want to be here. He wants more money. He wants to go for the 6-year deal that he wants. The same thing with Louis Eriksson. Louis Eriksson might be shipped out of Boston for more money. So it only comes down to, like I said, who has the most money. I mean, it happened to Ryan O'Reilly. Ryan O'Reilly got a monster contract from Buffalo in the offseason, and he's right now the best player on the team. So that works
Right.
perfectly. It's match made in heaven. Absolute match made in heaven. And San Jose. I mean, they were talking about trading Patrick Marleau to Nashville and Chicago, and the Rangers, the Kings, the Doctors. Like what exactly is this up with what's their face San Jose with regarding Patrick Marleau? Like what's the deal with that?
It's his stupid agent who keeps trying to shop him on the market. When Marlowe and his wife always continually say they love it in San Jose, he's not going to waive his no trade clause. He has no reason to get out of San Jose if he likes it there. And then you have like idiots like Jeremy Roenick who posts articles saying he's really bad in the locker room and whatnot, which obviously is not true. And you should never listen to what Jeremy Roenick has to say about the Sharks because for some reason he hates us.
Well, I mean, I don't know about hating, because if he really hated the Sharks, he would not have worn that uniform. And that's just to be fair. You know what I mean?
I think he's just bitter he didn't win the cup with us, but that's just me.
Well, I mean, that never happened. I mean, were the Sharks that good at the time? I mean, I know it was like 2008 or 9 that he played with the Sharks, but was San Jose really that capable of winning the cup that year with Jeremy Roenick?
We were. I mean, I know we always are, like, hungry. That may or may not have been the season we won the President's Trophy, too. I try to remember. No, I think we won the President's Trophy when we had Heatley, actually. But,
Interesting.
yeah, I don't know.
But, some commentators just hate teams. I mean, I could say Mike Milbury loves Boston, but he talks a lot of crap about the Islanders. Talks a lot of crap about the Sabres.
Flyers, too. He hates the Flyers.
Man, I mean, some people in this world just go completely nuts about because their opinion gets a lot of fans and just go on a complete tirade. I mean, if you think about it, with Don Cherry, he never talks about Montreal, but absolutely loves talking about, Boston and Toronto. Never talks about Montreal.
Right, we were discussing that before.
And that's just, I mean, I can't think of anybody who played for a team and then later talk crap about them. It just doesn't make sense.
Right?
I don't get it. I mean, if Patrick Marleau were to ever do that with San Jose, I think he would honestly be betrayed, wouldn't you?
I mean, if he wanted to really leave San Jose that badly, it would have happened already.
Yeah, right? I mean, because I know in November he said that he wanted to be out of San Jose. Like, he wanted to go to the Rangers and the Ducks and the Kings. But that never happened, obviously.
That was in our slump, and my theory is that was just him just putting out a threat to get the team to play better, and then that's when we went 6-0 on that road trip.
So basically, what you're telling me is that this is more about between Marleau and his agent, as to his agent wants Marleau out of San Jose just so he can win a Stanley Cup, but at the same time, Marleau wants to stay, correct?
Yes, Marleau wants to say his agent is just being an idiot and trying to shop him out there. And probably Doug Wilson is involved too, because I remember reading in the summer, Doug Wilson tried to get rid of Marleau, but he didn't have any takers.
Didn't he try to get rid of Joe Thornton at some point?
Yep. And then we all know what happened last year with him and Thornton.
Joe Thornton's situation is a little different than what Patrick Marleau's gone through. I mean, if anything, I don't know at this point. I mean, you're saying that he might not get traded, but I think he probably will get traded in regards, and he's probably going to go to a cup contender like Chicago or Nashville or something like that. Maybe the Capitals, maybe depending on what they have. They could throw in an offer for what's his face, Patrick Marleau. They could do it. I mean, the Caps have everything pretty much, but they need leadership. Obi can't do it himself, obviously. So they
Right.
need a little bit more from what Patrick Marleau can throw in. So I think having Marleau go to Washington would be an absolute match made in heaven.
I can see Joe Thornton the one being gone and not Marlowe. But the only problem is if we lose Thornton, that's going to hurt a lot of our young guys. Because, I mean, you look at Hurdle, now that Hurdle's back on the top line with both Joes, he's back to his old self. And that's only because Joe Thornton just is so great with the young guys. And that's like part of the reason why I think we still keep him. It's not a big one, but I mean, it does help.
But do you feel you're a cup contender this year? Like, do you feel the Stars are worthy to win the cup? Even if, Marleau and Thornton, let's just say scenarially, Thornton and Marleau both leave. Do you guys feel that you can win the cup with the assets you have? Or do you think you should add more to it just so you can make a late push at the season?
I think we should just go for a late push. I mean, you get rid of Thornton and Marleau, that whole locker room is going to change. And then also it just depends on what the return is.
And, Steph, how do you feel about Montreal going forward? Steph? Interesting.
Did we lose her?
I don't think so. We might have. But, I don't know. She probably went someplace and probably come right back, I'm sure. But, if she comes back, I'll ask her. But anyway, so going forward, what's the biggest adjustment for the Sharks? Do you think, what's the biggest need going into the second half of the season, directly after the All-Star game?
Defense. It's been that way for years, and for some reason, Doug Wilson does not understand that.
You really want defense? We'll give you Cody Branson.
Because
Take Cody Branson from Buffalo, please.
I actually did want Cody Franson. That's the funny part.
Oh, God, he sucks, man. And I had so much high hopes for him to come to Buffalo. Either him or you want Josh Georges back. You can take one or the other if Buffalo has any necessary need from San Jose.
Like you can ask Ryan, you can ask Lauren. I always told him, why didn't we go for Cody Franson or another cheap defenseman in the offseason? I mean, yeah, I'm ecstatic we got Martin, but we needed more. Because we rushed Tennyson and Mueller. I think Tennyson's still injured. Mueller's probably going to stay in the AHL for a bit. I'm really not liking DeMello on the Sharks, and I don't get why he's still with the team right now.
Who's still on?
Well, him and one of our defensemen, Dylan DeMello. And it's just so dumb. We should have never gotten rid of Dan Boyle. Poor guy wanted to stay, but Doug Wilson's like, no, you're not part of my quote-unquote rebuild. So he let him go. And then after Matt Irwin has a strong finish to last season, we let him go too, which I think was really stupid. And he wasn't too well in Boston.
And it's funny too, because I remember when Todd McClellan left San Jose. I remember what's his face, Mike Babcock was in discussion to talk with San Jose and Buffalo at the same offseason, but that didn't really work out for both of us. So he went to the freaking Maple Leafs, which makes them look like shit, considering they're the second worst team in the league behind Columbus.
Yep.
So,
which is another big surprise. And then getting rid of Scott Hannon too.
They're probably gonna freaking tank the season just so that they can get Austin Matthews. Better yet, they're probably gonna win the lottery because the league probably wants him to go there in regards. So, but that's just a general opinion in terms of how things are gonna work. I mean, I expect Buffalo to be at number 3, and I expect Austin Matthews to go to Toronto at number 1, and then Columbus getting to number 2, because that's what happened to the Sabres for the last couple of years, is that they were projected to get both Aaron Ekblad and Connor McDavid, but instead we ended up with Sam Reinhart and Jack Eichel. So far,
which honestly is not bad at all. That's going to work out great for you guys.
Yeah. I just got a notification saying that A lot of teams have interest in Galchenyuk, but Bergevin says Galchenyuk's not leaving.
So teams are getting interest about Galchenyuk, but they're insisting he's not leaving.
No, you're gonna have to do like you're probably going to have to do. You're gonna have to do like the biggest blockbuster trade we've seen in years to get Galchenyuk. It's not gonna happen.
I don't know about blockbuster, but it has
that's how big it mean.
I mean, Galchenyuk's probably worth another top forward, a top defenseman, and maybe a middle round pick, maybe like first or second.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A forward, any forward, whatever Montreal needs, they can, they can work around whatever they can get for Galchenyuk if they decide to trade him, which I highly doubt that they will. And I know for a fact the Sabres are getting a ton of interest about Tyler Ennis. And from the last thing I heard was that the Anaheim Ducks were in discussion with Buffalo regarding Ennis, and then going the other way, which this was honestly nuts to me, was Cam Fowler and Nick Ritchie for Tyler Ennis and Josh Borges. And that would honestly be the most lopsided trade because you're giving away two veterans and you're giving pretty much away $11 million in your cap, and it gives you the ability to get whoever you want. 2-3 big names in the market in the upcoming free agency. I mean, hell, they can go out and get freaking Michael Bacher, or Tyler Ennis. I mean, anything Tyler Ennis is related to in terms of trade rumors, they can certainly get something big for him. I mean, hell, I don't know if it's worth it, but they could possibly get him for Galchenyuk or something. I don't know. They could probably get some sort of value. They could. I mean, you never know. Same with anybody. Like I said, AZ, Anaheim, Montreal, anybody that needs a scorer. Tyler Ennis is available after he comes back from injury. And the only problem is this. He's only played 23 games. He has a $4.5 million cap hit because he's got 3 years left of his deal. And trading him is going to be impossible unless you find a partner that has the cap. Like I said, the Arizona Coyotes, the Anaheim Ducks. So those are just teams I mentioned that have interest in him. The LA Kings at some point had him interested in him, but I don't know how that's going to work out. I mean, there's no doubt that Ennis is available, but Jamie McGinn is also available, but it all comes down to what the Sabres do going forward, because they're going to try to get rid of as much of their defense as possible so they can get some younger defensemen and maybe some picks, because that's their agenda going forward.
That's what Sharks need, defense.
Montreal needs young, very young talent, and that's what Bergevin has this on and develop those players. And Bergevin has been smart, like Daniel Carr to whenever we need him before Gallagher returns. For like goal, and he could be in the NHL next year.
If anything, if I were Montreal, I would certainly go with somebody who can come up clutch. And I know I just used the basketball term, but you need somebody that can play the big parts on that team. Because you guys need scoring, obviously. So if anything, you need to get as much help as you can, and you definitely need defense at this point too, because Ben Scrivens, let's be honest, cannot do this himself. Neither can Mike Condon. And getting rid of Tokarski wouldn't do much either.
Tokarski already got graded.
Well, obviously, you guys should have figured it out. I forgot what they got from him, though. Like, who was the prospect they got from him? It was something like that. But, speaking of trades, while we're talking about trades, let's recap about something. Seth Jones for Ryan Johansson. Like, what did you guys think? Who won that trade so far?
I would say
Nashville.
Nashville.
What about you, Rob?
Let's go back to
definitely Nashville.
Trevor Daley trade.
Oh yeah, that one was weird. That was such a
And
weird
who
trade.
do you think won that trade?
Which trade?
The Trevor Daly for Rob Scuderi.
Rob the Trevor Daly.
Hmm. It was a very odd one. I mean, I think the one that really caught my eye was the freaking John Scott to Montreal, and the three-way trade was pretty interesting. I mean, you pretty much have a three-way trade with all four players that were put on waivers earlier this year, and then they all end up getting traded for uh, no particular purpose, unless it was to dump salary. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. I mean, that is probably going to go hands down one of the most embarrassing, weirdest trades you could ever accomplish. And on top of that, this pretty much puts John Scott's career in jeopardy. I mean, he's pretty much going to play his last game next Sunday or Saturday, whatever the competition is that he's going to be in. But John Scott is likely to be finished in the National Hockey League with the Montreal Canadiens or with the Arizona Coyotes, however he wants to be remembered. Now, John Scott's never going to see the light of another day in the National Hockey League. Period.
So yes, I have received word that the Lightning have made an offer to Stamkos at an average of $8.5 million a season.
Yeah, and on top of that, Steven Stamkos, his agent, and Steve Eisenman all said that it wasn't enough. So, Steven Stamkos, if you say that you don't want that money, but you want more, you're pretty much saying, Tampa, you're a good team, but I want more money.
Rightfully so. I mean,
exactly what happened.
I knew this was gonna happen. I knew if that Kopitar deal happened before any Stamkos talks got serious, I was really gonna hurt the Lightning because we all know he's better. Arguably, no, I would say he's better than Kopitar, and he's gonna demand more money than whatever Kopitar was getting.
I mean, it's kind of hard to say who's better between Kopitar and Stamkos, but
Right.
probably just about the only thing I cannot proclaim is what's his face? Kopitar has 2 cups and Stamkos has been to a finals. He's got the experience, but if he wants to really get the money, he's gonna go elsewhere for that. I mean, like I said, Montreal, Detroit, Buffalo. Who else was mentioned? I think Dallas was. I think Dallas was actually.
Toronto was mentioned at one point.
And I think the most common thing I hear is the stupid Maple Leafs fans making comments saying that they should sign Stamkos.
Remember those signed Stamkos signs? Oh my god.
Yeah, I remember that. I was actually the one that posted it. I was like thinking, oh my god, seriously?
Anyway, I have to go because I need to do other things.
Alrighty.
Alright.
Maybe I'll say next time for the next podcast whenever you do another one, Robert.
Definitely. We'll let you know next time we do another one of these. Hopefully soon.
Yep, we'll leave you know to that and go do what you need to do, and Rob and I will take it from here.
Cool.
All right. And later.
See you.
So that's advice and trust that we have, folks, and now it's just down to me and William Teal. So
this is gonna be fun.
Going forward, back to the whole Stamkos situation. Like, what do you expect from the entire situation into this, speculation? Think about what Steve Eisenman put himself in. He already put Jonathan Drouin into a complete mess. I mean, it's not all Jonathan Drouin. Let's be honest.
Right.
Here. Drouin, he's very talented. Don't get me wrong. But you also have to think. Look at the past 3 or 4 years that Steve Eisenman's been the general manager. I mean, he bought out Vinny Lecavallier's contract because at the time he was like, because like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go play for a team, that gave me an opportunity to play. I'm like,
and he went to the Flyers for whatever reason.
Yeah, how'd that work out?
And look how he's working out with the Kings now.
Yeah.
I mean, good for him
Yeah,
though.
yeah,
I'm glad he's doing better. I'm glad he's out of that hole in Philly.
yeah, you know what? I was almost at the point thinking, man, Vinny the Cavalier is really starting to die down. And then when I heard he got traded with, what was his face? What was that? Luke Chen or Brayton Chen that got traded?
I think it was Braden.
Yeah, I believe it was Brayden too. So, yeah, it was Brayden. So Brayden Chen got traded with Vinny the Cavalier, and all of a sudden the Cavalier is playing like the Vinny the Cavalier that you and I know, and we grew up in love with.
Right.
Was that was something from like the 2004 Stanley Cup year. And I'm not saying that Vinny the Cavalier is going to go back to how he played when he was younger,
Of course not.
98 to whatever. He's just going to go and just play his type of game. But I think it's also kind of silly because of the fact that he stated that without Craig Berube, he would retire in an instant. And he still comes out that and the son of a bitch goes to Los Angeles immediately after he gets traded and says, "Oh, I'm going to retire anyway." Like, are you just there for the money? Are you just there for the playtime? Like, what are you really asking for, Vinny? I mean, it's none of my business on what do you do. I mean, if you retire, good for you. You had a great career, got a Stanley Cup and all that, but come on, man, you're being a little bit of a stubborn asshole about the situation. I mean, I just think he was a little bit of demanding, from the Flyers. I mean, especially when they paid him all that money. I forgot how much he made, but he made a lot of money with the Flyers. I think it was like what, 30 million dollars, maybe 35 million, somewhere around that range, Rob.
Yeah.
Yes, it was somewhere around there. But at the point, you also got to think, does he actually have a chance to win the cup this year? I mean, are the Kings really qualified contenders now with the presence of Vinny Lecavalier and Brenton Chen? Like, do you think they're a much better team, or do you think there's some flaws in there?
I always thought there was going to be flaws in their defense, but no. Their defense actually hasn't been that bad. They have a great goaltending core. And now that they finally got that Kopitar deal out of the way, there's like no pressure or anything. Yeah, LA's going to be a tough team to beat come playoff time.
Oh yeah, definitely. But even though they're a cup playoff team going into the playoffs, they still have holes to fill. They have to still sign Tyler Toffoli, Dustin Brown, unless he was already signed. I forget.
No, they need to get rid of Brown. They need to strip him of that C. They need to somehow get rid of Dustin Brown.
You think they should get the C off of Dustin Brown?
Yes.
Well, why? Like, he's been the captain for so long. I'm not saying that it would happen, but
if you look at
any different from what the Sharks.
If you look at how poorly he's been playing and everything, and you compare him like Kopitar or Doughty, it's just like why does he have the C still and not one of those other two guys?
I mean, I'd say the same thing about Brian Gionta. I mean, Brian Gionta has the C on his jersey. He wears that with honor, and I get it. He was the captain for a couple of years in Montreal, but man, Brian Gionta is not the same player he was, 10, 15 years ago. He still has the leadership. I mean, he can teach the young guys like Jack Eichel and Sam Reinhart to be better leaders in the locker room, of course. But that was the main reason why he was brought in. And Buffalo fans bitch about him all the time, saying that he gets more ice time than Jack Eichel on certain nights. I'm like, yeah, on certain nights, because Jack can get a little inconsistent sometimes. Don't get me wrong, Jack Eichel is a hell of a player, and you even agree with me on that. Jack Eichel is a hell of a hockey player.
I always thought he was going to be better than McDavid.
Yeah, and you even took that too, even from the mock.
Yep.
And
I've said that since the beginning, and I'm sticking with that. And not just because of the McDavid injury. I always thought Eichel would be the better player.
I think so too. I mean, if you compare McDavid to Eichel, McDavid has more skill. Yes. Hold on a second. Good night, Dad. Sorry about that.
Not a problem.
Yeah, so, what was I saying? McDavid has more skill, but Eichel is stronger. Because if you think of the way when McDavid injured his, his collarbone or his shoulder that he injured a while back?
Collarbone.
It was college run, yeah. McDavid's a skinny guy. I mean, if you look at his physique, he's not as strong as I thought he was. I mean, I'm not calling him inferior. I'm not calling him anything like that because I would never do that to any professional athlete unless you're Phil Kessel. But McDavid, he's just a talented hockey player. I mean, there is no question about that. But Eichel is just stronger, and the OHL was always covered with kids that are 18, 19 years old. Eichel was playing with 20-year-olds that older than him. So I guess that's probably why he's in the league right now playing more games than what Connor McDavid has. It's just not of a matter of fact. I mean, yeah, McDavid puts up more points, but Eichel's just a more physique player. I mean, if you had to compare the two, I mean, it's a thrill having him. I have no worries about Jack Eichel because I know he's going to be a hell of a hockey player. But it just pisses me off that he didn't even get elected to go to the All-Star game. I mean, I was happy that Ryan O'Reilly went, but I'm not happy with the fact that him or Rasmus Ristolainen got elected to the All-Star game. I'm not happy with that at all. But Jack Eichel, they claim he's a generational player, but yet he doesn't even get elected to go. I mean, if David went, then he would have to get elected. And let's be honest about that.
Yeah, and I'm not even happy with Burns in the All-Star game.
I mean, not that it matters. I mean, who is going to the All-Star game for the Sharks, by the way?
Pavelski finally, and Burns.
Pavelski and Burns.
Yep.
Surprised no Marlowe or Thornton.
I know, especially with this season Marlowe's been having.
Well, you haven't explained that to me because I don't really watch the Sharks. I mean, I try my best I can, but I don't really know what's going on with him.
He still has speed, let me tell you. Despite being, 36 years old, he still has speed. He still has good moves. Burns, though, is just a turnover machine on defense and should go back to forward. That's another mistake of ours, is putting him on defense. But we had no choice because, like I said earlier, with Doug Wilson messing up the defense and rushing Tennyson and Mueller in.
That's just Doug Wilson, I mean, I always viewed the Sharks as a powerhouse in the playoffs. I really do. But I don't know, man. When you're telling me, I believe it because there are times I see San Jose play very inconsistent on defense. That's just from my viewing. But usually the type of seasons I see from San Jose, I mean, Joe Thornton always has an out. I'm not saying that Joe Thornton's perfect, but I think, he still has some upside. But if anybody still has an upside, he's still playing this goddamn league. It's Jaromir Jagr. I mean, he's still playing that. How the fuck does that guy keep himself in shape? How? Somebody, please.
Don't know. It's crazy.
Dude, I can't explain it, man. He's so freaking good. And yet he's like, I don't want to go to the All-Star game. I'm 44. I took me a break. And earlier, I was reading this on the Hockey News. I don't know if you heard me when we were talking earlier. And I was trying to tell Alex, too. And I said that if Jagr didn't go to the All-Star game, because, of course, he got elected to go to the All-Star game by the fans, he says, I don't want to go. And the league is saying if he doesn't play, he's going to get a one-game suspension by the league because he didn't participate in the All-Star game. Now, that to me is the most childish thing. Like, think about that, Rob. You suspend one of the greatest players to ever play the game, ever, just because he didn't want to play in the All-Star game. But yet, you have an enforcer who has no natural talent, who played for both the Sabres and Sharks, got his identity in Buffalo, and then yet he gets traded, and he's never getting called up. And then people complain and bitch and moan about him to play in the All-Star game, and the league's like, fine, okay. We'll let you play.
He shouldn't have played because the fans made a joke of the voting system and tried messing with it, and they got away with it, sadly. But I just hope you know this, fans who voted for him. Yep. Just know this, fans. You're probably never going to be able to vote for anybody in the All-Star game ever again, and rightfully so. It's just a popularity contest if you think about it.
They should just keep the way it is. I mean, they should just probably keep it the way it is now, but just take away the enforcers. Like, the way it was set up before was fine. But it's just the parts where you take out players that don't even deserve to be in it. Like, is there any real purpose of him being at the All-Star game? And you know me, I said this from day one. When I found out John Scott got not only voted into the All-Star game, and not only did he get traded, and not only did he come back, but not be able to play in his last game in the NHL of an All-Star game, but he also is representing as the captain of the Pacific Division in this so-called 3-on-3 tournament.
Yeah.
What the hell is all this? Literally, what the hell is this? Oh my God. Why does the league have to make a joke about this? Seriously. And you know what? And you and I went through this because we've been busy on our page. Oh my God. Some of these fans, man, some of our fans go nuts about John Scott. Like, there's no merchandise about him, but yet people want him there. Like, why? Why is there a purpose to that? There's no purpose at all to have a guy that recently traded and then have him be the captain of the previous team in the All-Star game. That does not make any sense.
It doesn't.
At all. And I guarantee you, whoever is represented for Nashville at the All-Star game is going to win the All-Star game, is going to win the MVP. It happened last year with Columbus. Like, if you remember, John Tavares, who I was really happy about, that had the 4-goal night. Tavares had a 4-goal night in the All-Star game, even though the game is not really worth not trying.
Right.
You know, he had 4 goals, and he was supposed to win the MVP, and it's it. And then they gave it to Ryan Johansson, all because the All-Star game was in Columbus.
Columbus, yep. Nice popularity contest, I'm telling you.
Such a joke.
It is.
The last time I saw somebody that actually deserved to win the All-Star MVP was Danny Briere in 07, representing the Sabres. And he actually won the Dodge Ram in 07 in Dallas. I remember this. And it was him, Brian Campbell, and Ryan Miller. And then they had a Young Star game, too. It was kind of like the All-Star game, but it was for the prospects that were in that time frame, you know. I think Pavelski was in it, or Logan Couture. I really don't remember. But I remember Chichu was in that All-Star game, and Thomas Vanek was at the Young Star game representing for the Sabres. And I think Chris Campoli was there. I'm pretty sure.
It wasn't Couture because we drafted Couture in 09.
Oh yeah. You're right. I apologize.
That's fine.
I don't know, man. I don't really have a good memory of Sharks. The Sabres I definitely do, and the Islanders. But I don't really know a lot about the past with certain teams. But I do remember that. Whatever happened to Jonathan Chichu? Because I remember he was so
guy.
good. And then all of a sudden he had like 3 All-Star appearances and then just disappeared. Like, what happened to him?
I don't even know what happened to him. I think we traded him.
Disappeared?
He disappeared, then I believe we traded him, and then he just never really heard from him again. I think he plays in the KHL now or something.
That's very interesting. I think that's pretty depressing because I actually like Jonathan Chichu.
Oh, I love Chichu.
At the time, yeah, and around the time he was actually going to get good, he leaves.
Yep.
He leaves. And the last team I think I saw him on was with either with the St. Louis Blues or with the Ottawa Senators. That was one of the last 2 teams I saw him play on.
Yep. I know he's.
Oh my God.
I know he's part of our fan voted 25th anniversary team though. So I mean that's good.
Wait a minute. He's gonna be part of the 25th anniversary team?
Yep.
What, are they having some kind of alumni game for that or something?
I believe so. That's going to be pretty fun.
And I know you want to go to San Jose for that. I don't know if you've ever been to San Jose.
No, I've never been. I've been to California, but that was in the summer to visit a cousin who moved back to New Jersey. But I mean, I'm gonna go there probably in the summer again because see his cousins there. But I wish I could go during the hockey season. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, I know, right? Now, about the draft, do the Sharks have a first-round draft pick?
Nope.
They don't. Oh yeah, that's right. You traded it for what's that guy's name?
Martin Jones.
That's right. That's what I was thinking. Martin Jones. And and I have to ask you before this time frame, what do you think of the selection of the location for the draft this year?
Where's it this year? Buffalo?
Yeah, it's in Buffalo because last year it was in Florida, and the year before that it was in Philadelphia.
Honestly, I like it, and I might actually want to make the trip up to Buffalo just to see the draft.
I actually would love to go up there, but the problem is I was just there a couple weeks ago to see the Sabres Red Wings game around New Year's, and uh, unfortunately that did not work out too well for the Sabres. And then the next day I went to the Bills game, and that was fun. But I enjoyed myself, I really did. But it's not the first time I've been to the Buffalo. I've been there a couple times. I mean, my very first trip was in 2011. That was like 5 years ago. And then I went to my second trip in 2012. That was 4 years ago. So I have some pretty good memories about Buffalo. But the first two times I was there, it was just a very quiet city. The fans are nice. The people there were cool and all that. But it was just very dark. Like when you go to Buffalo downtown, it's very very dark. And because it snows up there, obviously, it just makes it like I'm not bashing the city, or I'm not trying to call out the city or whatever. I love Buffalo. Don't get me wrong. I love the team and I love everything about the city. But it's just that it's just very, very quiet and depressing. Just the way it's surrounded. It's like a mini New York City, although it's technically called the Queen City. But
Right.
it's just a very unique place to go. I mean, there's not that many people that have a community up there, but when it's in the springtime, it's a completely different story. In the winter, it's like think of it like this. Think of it like Jekyll and Hyde. Okay? In Jekyll and Hyde, obviously if you read the book or the movies or watch the movies, you drink the potion to, the mixture between good and evil.
Right.
And in the spring, it's good. Everything's lovely. Everyone loves it in the Buffalo and whatever. And when you're Hyde from October to April, that's the worst time of the year to go up there because it always snows and ice and all that shit. It's pretty cool, but
Like right now
I'm
with
telling
all
you,
the
man,
snow.
it's definitely right now, even hell on earth, it looks like that in New Jersey and in Long Island. So it's no different. Buffalo actually, I read the report. It says it was actually it was 21 degrees uh less. I mean, I'm sorry, no, it was 21 in Buffalo, but it wasn't snowing. Meanwhile, in New York and New Jersey, it was 30, but it was completely covered, with
Oh yeah.
snow and stuff.
You saw I had to walk.
But
You saw I had to walk like down my street just to get to my house. They didn't even
yeah,
plow my
what a
street
pain in the
that
ass.
time.
And
It wa-
I feel so bad for you that the fact you had to walk all the way from where you came from because you said your job won a contest and you had to walk home, which you said wasn't very far. I'm like, dude, you shouldn't even be walking in this weather. It's so bad. I mean, God forbid you fall and break your leg or whatever. I
yeah,
mean,
my
hell, one of my mom.
my friend
I
couldn't
mean,
get into her
hell,
street.
it's like get your ass inside. And you know what? It doesn't matter for me because I woke up this morning at 7 o'clock to get ready for work because I had no choice. But I had to get up and help my job because I work for a park and recreation department for my local town and in Long Island, by the way. And
Oh, okay.
I was helping, shoveling, and the crew that takes care of the highway patrol, was there until 11 o'clock yesterday night, and they won't be able to go home until Sunday night. And let me tell you, and these people only get 5 hours of sleep, which
Oh
is not
wow.
very healthy for your body, of course, because your body needs at least to absorb 8 hours of sleep so you can fully regain your health. But I mean, they get relaxed for, like I said, a good 4 or 5 hours, but then they have to wake up again, which is a real pain in the ass. And that's just how it works in the highway patrol. But I don't work in that department because the recreation department and the highway patrol are like right next to each other. So I get really good communication with the crew, and they tell me all kinds of information, stuff like that. So uh, it's just a really interesting place where I'm at in terms of Long Island. It really is. But I'm sure New Jersey is like that as well.
Yeah, I mean it's probably the worst winter storm we've had in many many years. I mean, look how many games they canceled. They even canceled the Capitals game tomorrow. That's a big game.
And what's even more sad is I was supposed to go to the and believe it or not, I was actually supposed to go to the Islander Flyer game today. I was supposed to go on the train from Long Island Railroad from my town, which is Merrick, because I live on Long Island. I leave from Merrick to the LIRR and then get off of Jamaica, which is another town in Queens,
Queens,
where the
yep.
Mets play for baseball. Yeah. And you have to get off Jamaica and then take the transit to go to Brooklyn, which is a real pain in the ass. And then
That's where
it's
my dad
just
was.
constant back. I mean, if you go to a Ranger game in the Garden, you just go same thing. You know, you go from LIR to Penn, and then you go straight up from Penn, and then the Garden's like right there. You sit and do what you need to do for 2 or 3 hours, or whatever the time frame is, whatever you're doing over there. You go back down to the train station. You wait for your town, and then you go. Simple. You know, I mean, believe me, if you go to a Ranger game, man, be prepared. Especially if you're wearing a Lightning jersey or a Sharks jersey or hell, Devils or Islanders. That's the worst place to go.
I get a lot of crap from Rangers fans for being a Sharks fan here. Islanders fans, we always have great hockey conversations. Don't know why it just happens. Love it. And then Devils fans are cool with it.
Yeah, I mean, Devils fans are cool too. I don't mind the Devils really, but it's funny too because I always get questions. How are you a Buffalo fan but you live in New York? I'm like,
Yep, I get that a
Buffalo.
lot.
I mean, same thing with the fucking Bills. You know, the Bills. I get the same question all the time. You know, why? How are you a Bills fan? I'm like, that's the same reason why I'm a Sabres fan because they're a New York team. You know, and the Islander fans are cool. I mean, I like having intelligent conversations with hockey fans because that's how you get your friends closer. Like you and I right now. I mean, we talk about hockey all the time, but you know, because that's part of our job.
Right.
But you know, when you're having a conversation with an Islander fan, it's great. You know, you can actually interact with them and stuff like that. But there's always a mixture of Ranger fans who I have a really good relationship that can be intelligent, and there are some that are just very childish. I mean, and there's other fan bases too I've met. I've met Flyer fans, I've met Penguins fans, I've met Lightning fans, I've met Blue Jackets fans, Capitals fans, you name it. Bruins fans, Leafs fans, Habs fans, they're all over, dude. They're all over Long Island. Believe me, it's big enough for those kind of teams. And the really nice thing about Long Island and the state of New York is when you go to a local store like the mall or something. Back like a couple years ago, you would never ever find Sabres hats at Lids or anything related that carries, you know, sports hats. You don't really see that as much. But now we're in the new generation and stuff like that, and they have better shipment. Now they're starting to sell products for your team. I mean, in Long Island, where I live, like I've said numerous times, they sell San Jose Sharks stuff, dude. They sell Sharks hats, Sharks jerseys, shirts, lanyards, you name it. Anything Sharks, they have it. Same with the Sabres. They have everything there, dude.
That's
But
awesome.
they mostly sell yeah, like the Jets and Giants, the Islander Rangers, the Yankees, Mets, you name it. They carry all the local teams, but that's just very rare to find certain teams that they sell actual products for. I mean, obviously, if you go to the NHL store in New York City in Times Square, your best odds of finding your team is very high, depending on what you're looking for.
Yeah, the only
Uh,
place I find shark stuff around here is this one sports store in the mall that's literally 5 minutes away from my house. Otherwise, online's pretty much my best friend.
wow, that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
And where do you think Louis Ericsson's going to end up? Because I know he said he wants a 6-year deal, but I forget how much he's asking. He wants a 6-year deal for whoever pays him. I mean, the Boston Bruins don't want to pay him that much money, but they'll likely he's going to get traded and he's going to go to a team that will give him the money he wants for that 6-year deal. Like, and I said it from the beginning. I said the Vancouver Canucks, but I don't know if that's the case at this point.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting where he ends up.
Definitely. I mean, Jamie McGinn. I'm waiting for Jamie McGinn to get resigned. I would be really upset if they trade him, but he's been a very important asset. He wasn't like in the Robin Leonard trade, you know, with David Legwand was just a throwaway player, you know. And they're gonna end up throwing him away because he sucks, man. I'm telling you, David Legwand He's probably having a better season with the Sabres than he is with the Ottawa Senators the last 2 years. And the main prize was Leonard. Same with Buffalo. They're not throwing Jamie McGinn away because he's a special player. I mean, even though he didn't really live with this potential in San Jose, he kind of proved it in Colorado. Avs fans loved Jamie McGinn.
Oh, I miss him so much.
You miss him?
Yeah. I do
How
miss
did San Jose
Jamie McGinn.
fans feel about him?
Some liked him, some didn't. Majority liked him though. And I actually have two.
Buffalo fans love him.
I actually have 2 signed pucks by Jamie McGinn.
You have 2 signed pucks by Jamie McGinn.
Yep.
Is there one with the number, or is there one with the number, or is it both?
Both are with the number. One's gold ink. One's a gold. The other one's silver Sharpie. Second one I got actually was a bonus signed puck because the seller had to take a while to ship my the 2 pucks I bought from him, so he threw a random one in for free, and it happened to be Jamie McGinn puck.
I just got a Ryan O'Reilly signed puck.
That's awesome.
Ago. And it's a nice addition. You should see my puck collection, man. My puck collection is so big, it's hard. It's like ridiculous. I have Alexander McGillivray, Ryan Miller, Dominic Hasek, Jack Eichel, Ryan O'Reilly, Dave Andrechuk, Christian Ehrhoff, Tyler Myers, Mike Foligno, you name it. I have most of the Sabres legends. I don't have any of the members of the French Connection, which is the really, really disappointing part. I mean, Gilbert Perreault and Rennie Ribéry can easily fine, but Rick Martin obviously passed away 5 years ago on March 16th, 2011, unfortunately. The late Rick Martin was one of the original 3 members of the French Connection and passed away in a car accident. So, yeah, I miss him, man. Rest in peace, man.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, he's a great player, Rick Martin, but I'm not too sure if he's Hall of Fame bound, though. I really don't know. I mean, his number 7 jersey is retired by the Sabres along with his 2 line mates, Rennie Ribéry and Gilbert Perreault. I mean, Rick Martin, like I said, he was a special player. I mean, he played for the Kings, and then he was famous, of course, on the Sabres. And then, he was iconic in Buffalo. He was kind of like, I think it's kind of like Michael Jordan. Like, put it like that. He was kind of like the Michael Jordan of Buffalo.
Oh, okay.
He was that special. He really was. Yeah, think of it like that. But, although I think some people will disagree with me on that, but, I don't have any of the pucks from the 3 of them, so I have, but I do have other memorabilia about them. I have rare, like, beer cans from the Bat Blue, and it has their signatures on it, like their jersey numbers.
Nice.
Like, it says the jersey number and the name, and then I have the pieces of the old Memorial Auditorium, and what else do I have? I believe that's all I have. I have to look later on my shelf, but I have something else related to the old loft, and I believe that's it that I have. And I got other memorabilia in here too, so I just gotta look around.
I have 16 signed pucks.
And 16?
16?
Yeah, I have like 60. Wow. I have 4, 6. No, it's 4 each. 17 autograph pucks I have.
Nice.
Yep.
And then I have also 2 signed 8x10 photos.
Oh, of who? Joe Thornton?
Yep, I think you saw my Thornton one, right?
I don't think so, but you can probably show me probably after this podcast.
Definitely. That one actually has a personal note on it as well. And then a gift from a friend I got was a Tomas Hertl signed photo. Oh. And then, Alex is going to get me the Kucherov one tomorrow, which is going to be awesome.
Yeah, and I believe I showed you this. I have pictures from, I have memorabilia too, but I have a game worn signed 2000, like the new Millennium patch. Like, remember, after the 99 Cup Finals, the year the Devils won the Cup 2000, before the finals, or before the playoffs, remember those jerseys they had to represent the new Millennium?
Yeah.
And it said, like, 2000?
Yes.
Yes, I have that jersey. It is game worn and it's signed in black by Dominic Hasek. It's got a signature. It doesn't have 2014 Hall of Fame, whatever. It doesn't have that on there, unfortunately. I got that as a Christmas present by my sister many, many years ago, and I have it sitting right above my desktop, actually, on the left of my snake's tank. Yeah, because for some of you that don't know, I have a pet ball python, so I kind of share it with the group, and I think some of us really appreciate it. But yeah, so I have that jersey sign hanging up on my wall right next to the cage, which is next to my laptop. And I got a bunch of other stuff in here too. I mean, I have the jersey, I have the banner, I have the puck. Like I said, I have a hot shot signed puck. Um, and the next item I'm probably gonna get is a game stick that he played for in the I think 98 playoff game against Washington when they lost in overtime. But that was the game they were supposed to win in forced game seven, and Washington beat and Joe Juno scored the overtime winner to put the Caps in the finals against Buffalo.
I know I have a Marlowe bobblehead. I only have one of the 25th anniversary posters, sadly, and it's Nabokov, but I love that.
Mm.
Then I have.
Yeah.
I actually bought this for my friend Alex as well. It's a signed 2006-2007 Tampa Bay Lightning program. It has a St. Louis signature on it.
St. Louis signature, huh?
Yeah, that's gonna be a nice one to
What did you?
keep.
Yeah, right. Because you're also a Tampa Bay Lightning fan.
Yeah, but I always loved St. Louis.
Yep, and you were all wrapped up in your Lightning gear last podcast. Oh my god. I had my Islanders jersey.
I mean, I have my Shark stuff on now, but
yeah, I wonder how much shit you were gonna get in that time frame.
right?
I mean, it's like, do you think some of our fans would kill us if we told everyone we were like representatives of like two teams, like you'd be a Shark Lightning fan and I'm an Islanders Sabres fan?
Yeah, they might be like, what the hell, but
Yeah, because I know Alex roots for like four teams. I know that he votes for Dallas, which for some reason he talks a lot of crap about. You know, I understand his frustration, but it doesn't make sense. The Dallas Stars are actually a really good team and they qualify for the cup, but they just have to make the right moves. And of course, he roots for Columbus sometimes, and then and he has a bunch of Canadian jersey. And then the secret team he never revealed ever. He never told this to anybody. And apparently, Bursey told me this. He said that he roots for Washington, and this was just about maybe around the time Ovechkin started, or maybe just a little after, or maybe before the season. I think. I don't know the exact time frame, but he said that when the Capitals were starting to get really, really good, was around the time that he kind of, I don't know if you want to call it jumping on the bandwagon, but started rooting for them. And then, of course, you know, Alex is like, oh, I don't root for the Capitals. And that's just what he pretty much says. And then first he just like goes nuts about it. He's like, yeah, he actually roots for Washington. He's like, well, I don't know who to believe at this point. So, you know, trust me, guys. If you have more than one team you like, just stick with two. You know, don't go crazy about your
stick
team.
with two and then follow other teams if you'd like.
Yeah, like I mean, I have my chills. I mean, I'm primarily a Sabres fan, but because I'm from Long Island and I grew up around an Islanders family, I'm an Islander fan, which makes sense. And for Rob, I don't know what his origins is and stuff like that.
Used to be Devils fan up until 2004. That's when I
Uh,
became a fan of both teams.
so, what made you like Tampa and San Jose? Like let's start with San Jose. Like, what made you like San Jose the most?
Probably Patrick Marleau.
Just Patrick Marleau?
Patrick Marleau. Then I was in fourth grade. I loved like the teal colors and the old Sharks logo. Just appealed to me. I know, kind of a silly reason. That's pretty much the same thing with the Lightning. I just thought that Lightning Bolt logo was cool and the blue jerseys.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, the Lightning logo. I always loved the original Lightning logo. I mean, I like the new one they have. It's kind of bland, but I kind of still like it in regards. I don't care what anybody says. The logo before that, the one that looks like a pencil sketch, really bothers me. I mean, it doesn't really add up for me.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. I'm sorry. A second. Tell me if we covered this earlier in the podcast. When Steph mentioned about Steven Stamkos, it says that Bolts GM Steve Eisenman recently made a contract offer pending UFA Steven Stamkos that averaged at $8.5 million, and obviously it was not accepted, but it would be wrong to use the word rejected. The sense is that it's a negotiation point, an attempt to see where everything stands, where everyone stands. Now, if anything, honestly, at this rate, I suggest them trading Matt Carl because Carl's got a big contract. And he's not even worth the contract that Tampa Bay first paid him. You know, it was kind of a ridiculous statement by the Lightning signing that amount of money. Kind of ridiculous.
I actually found a signed picture I got from my friend Alex too. It's of Bill Lindsay of the Florida Panthers.
Wait, I'm sorry. What did you say? I was reading a text.
Oh, it's okay. I actually found I forgot I got this from my friend Alex as well, the Lightning fan, a Bill Lindsay signed photo.
Huh. Well, that's really interesting. I have to
Yeah.
say. Wow. Wow. And I actually have I have an archive helmet signed by the whole '99 Stanley Cup Sabres team. Even though they didn't win the cup, but they made it. Was Brian Holzinger was on it, Wayne Primo was on it, Dominic Hasek on it, Michael Pekka, man. Michael Pekka at that time, and the reason I became a Sabres fan ultimately was because I loved the black and red scheme, the red and black colors, and I loved the logo at the time. I saw them as my very first team I saw in my first ever NHL game, which was Sabres and Islanders in '96, and Dominic Hasek was in goal. And they lost that game 4-2. And I think Berard had a goal in that game. Zach Montgomery had a goal or two in that game. I forget. But they had the black jerseys on at the time. So that's mainly how I became a fan. And then I looked at the next day I looked at the roster and that was that for me. And then Michael Pekka was my favorite player at the time next to Dominic Hasek. And then when I found out that Michael Pekka was traded to the Islanders, I think it was 2001 or 2. It was one of the 2 years. He was traded for Tim Connolly. And Tim Connolly was a complete bum at the time. For all those years he's been in Buffalo, absolutely complete bum because Darcy McGear absolutely loved him for some reason. He fucking sucked. He was injury prone and he had very little amount of consistency. He just did not care about the Sabres. And they let him go. Just didn't work out. But Michael Pekka worked out perfectly for Buffalo. And for the Islanders, of course, but he was captain for the Islanders for a very long time, and then he was playing with Alexei Yashin, he was playing with Mark Parrish, he was playing with Oleg Kavaja, Adrian Coyne, Rick DiPietro, Sean Bates. They were playing with a very good team at that time. They were good enough to make the playoffs, and that was that for Michael Pekka. And then after that trade, I just became more and more consistent with following the Islanders.
Yeah, no, I mean, I have a friend Ryan who he was born in Long Island, moved to Tampa Bay as a young kid, still lives near Tampa Bay, and has family in Anaheim. So for that reason, he's a fan of the Lightning, Islanders, and Ducks, and he gets a lot of heat for that. But I mean, I understand why.
And this is your friend?
Yep.
So I think that's pretty much it in terms of covering everything we wanted. Don't you think, Rob?
Definitely, and we reached over an hour.
Yeah, it's not bad. It wasn't a bad podcast. I mean, it was nice having Steph on here for the first time, that's for sure.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, I think she just has to get a new mic, and I think she's good from there.
Yeah, and I just can't wait until I can start doing these on the desktop and not my laptop.
Yeah, right. Yep. So I think that's it for us, folks, and I believe we're going to sign out. This is Bleed Teal, and this is Boomstick for Hardcore NHL fans, and we are signing out.
See you next time.
Peace.